Apartment Prepping 101. So starting first off, as you can see, we have a front door right here in front of us, right? It's your standard door. It's not that thick. Apartments don't spend too much money on front doors because they have to provide so many of them for so many different tenants. So right here we have a standard door. Again, it's not that strong. So your regular door is going to come with your knob, your typical deadbolt, and maybe sometimes one of these little chains, which is extremely flimsy with some little screws in there, right? So a lot of times with these doors get kicked in pretty easily. And depending on where you live, quite often for some, unfortunately. So what I've done is go ahead and I went ahead and fortified this door a little bit more. So one thing I started with, go ahead and unlock this, is the deadbolt screws. Something you want to do is go ahead and change these screws out, because these screws probably about that long, and that's not too hard to kick in. Same for up here. So that's the doorknob, that's the deadbolt. All right, that way if somebody does try to kick it in, it'll take a little bit longer for them to kick past that. Next measure is to get you some of these door locks right here. This is good, so you just fold it through, click it in place. That way, even if this is unlocked, so that's locked, even if this is unlocked, the door can't come in, and the door's not even moving. So that's super sturdy while the door is unlocked. And you add a deadbolt, that's even more secure. So what this is a door locking mechanism. And you screw it in right here on the side of your door. It comes with this panel, it's all one piece. And you have 1, 2, 3, 4 screws. And also these screws that I put in here, these are the screws that came with it. These are some much longer screws. I'll show you those in a bit. So what I did, I went ahead and got this one, and I added a second one up here. Why not, right? So now, when you close, you lock your door and put that 1, put that 2 on there, and you're good to go. I mean, you can put this if you want. I still put it just for added measure, because like every little bit counts. But there you have 2 locks, and this door, I'm telling you, is not moving at all. Something else that we've added, this one's pretty janky for right now because it fell off not too long ago, but this is one of those little door alarms. They sell these at all types of places, and all you gotta do is turn it on. Let's see, if somebody comes through the door, let's go ahead and take this off. Sometimes you gotta push your knee in. If somebody opens the door, then let's see, hold on, sorry about that. Then you got your alarm. You got your alarm that goes off. So that's always good, you know, something loud and audible to alert you, as well as the intruder, that we know you're here, right? So you get your screws, your excess screws, to replace the ones that come with the door, because those are extremely short. I'll go ahead and show you those. So the screws that usually come with the door are like this, and sometimes even shorter, probably like a third shorter. But what we replaced it with is these screws, much longer. These go way deeper into the studs in the door frame. That way it can latch on to something tight. And a lot of times these shorter screws, they don't even go that far into the actual frame of the door, the studs. So this is hanging in something that's relatively loose. So a couple kicks, sometimes one good kick, can knock that straight out of place. So with the door locks like these, you got your alarm up here. Something else that we did to fortify this front door, go over here. A lot of people have seen these guys, right? This is just a little door stopper. You put it up underneath your doorknob like that, and you just slide it into place, and that prevents the door from being pushed in. So a lot of people know about those. These are great. This is the first thing we started off with first. Then we just started building and adding more and more, right? So as you can see, I have these guys right here, right? That's what those look like. Can you guess what that is? Can you guess what that is? Is for a bar to go across. So now we have the bar, we have the double locks, the alarm, the standard crap that comes with it, the the screws in all these latches have been redone. Now we have a bar going across. So for someone to get through this, it's gonna take an extremely long time. And by that time, if you've been asleep and this hasn't woke you up and all the noises they've been doing, this is gonna take an extremely long time. That's if they can even get through. Then you got bigger problems. So this is a good way to start off your preps, is securing what you already have, right? You may not have started buying all the expensive gear and all these foods and appliances or whatever you need, but starting off, you can secure what you already have. Also, an honorable mention, a lot of apartments come with these sliding doors, and they don't have too much security on them. They just have this single piece right here. So what we did, we added another one of those little audible alarms. So now if it opens, you know, the alarm goes off. Also, just like the front door, we also have another one of these bars. And you just throw that into the tracks down there. So you just put that in there like that. So that way when you try to slide this door open, it can't go back any further, so no one can squeeze through. So that's another way to go ahead and do that. This is what it looks like. It's just a bar going from that end to this glass panel, and prevents this from sliding back and opening. That's another measure for your sliding doors. And we have that on all our sliding doors, which there's only 2. All right, guys, next up we have water and water storage. So with a lot of apartments, we all know you're working on limited space, right? For the majority of us. So we have to find out interesting ways to keep our water. So before I started this whole preparedness lifestyle, this used to be a regular closet. I still have clothes in it and all that type of stuff. But down here, I used to have shoes, and I used to keep them in shoe boxes, right? So you got shoe boxes and shoes. So that's taking up a ton of space. So first I downsized and I got rid of the shoe boxes. And I had a shoe rack in here after that. So I got rid of the shoe rack, and then gave a lot of the shoes that I didn't need or weren't using at all, I gave them away to to Goodwill, to Goodwill. And that provided me with a ton of space, and I just moved my other shoes to the coat closet, as well as I bought this little hanging shoe rack that hangs on the door. That way I can have some more space down here, and just relocated those shoes. So as you can see here, we got a couple cases of these water bottles. There's 40 bottles per case, and I'm pretty low right now. I usually have this stacked up to 3 to 4 cases, so I'm kind of like at half capacity right now. But I mean, just think, this is one small closet in an extra bedroom we have, and there's, what is this, 160 bottles right here. 160 bottles, and I'm only at half capacity. So this is letting you know that you can store a lot of water, and it doesn't have to be out in the open and you know, just being a obstruction to, you know, to your apartment and just always getting in the way. So you got to think about interesting and innovative ways to be a prepper with a small amount of space. So again, this is 160 bottles right here, and it's at half capacity. So we can double this if we want to at any given time. So that's good. And you just close that and it's stored away, right? So that's it right there. Also, on the topic of water, something I've seen a lot of people do, which I'm about to order mine, is getting those water containers. They're usually like these big blue jugs, and you can get them, and you want to get the ones that are stackable, so you can stack them up if you have to, because a lot of times when we start going out into the apartment, we're taking up precious space that we already don't have. So if you are working with limited space, I kind of stole this idea from a lot of people in Japan. A lot of people in Japan have smaller space than us, but they build up into their apartment so they can utilize the vertical space. So what I'm going to do right here in this area that I'm showing y'all is probably going to have 2 water containers side by side, and then stack them up to 2 so they can utilize this space right here. And I have those, and a lot of them are top loading, so you can unscrew the top of them and you can pour your water in. And when you have them top loading, it's better for them to retain the water. So just say if it loads from the bottom, or you got to turn it to the side or whatever, if it starts leaking, then the water can leak out onto the ground. But if you have it loading at the top, you don't have to worry about it leaking up and out. That'd be kind of crazy, right? So get some top loading as in pour the water from into the top of the container, water containers, and build your way up instead of building your way out so you can retain your space in your apartment. All right, next up we have food storage. As you can see, we're basically at capacity right here without looking too crazy. It's not the neatest, but it'll do, right? So your typical cabinets in your apartment gonna look something like this, right? So since this isn't a whole lot of room, this is enough room for like what you got going on immediately. You need to figure out different ways to utilize your space. One thing we'll talk about is canned goods. Canned goods are an amazing asset if you're prepping, right? Or you're preparing for a disaster, electricity going out, or you just not having a whole lot of money at a time. And just say if you do have some stuff like this stored up and you're going through a rough patch in life, you can eat from your preps instead of spending money on new stuff. And then once you get your funds back to how they should be going, you can go ahead and replenish those things. But as far as storage, I'm gonna close this. We're gonna move on over here. So as you can see, we have a couple different buckets right here. These are, let's see what size buckets. I think these are 5-gallon buckets, if I'm not mistaken. And I have these filled up with different types of items. So we have these labeled. These are from 2023, these right here in this area. And as you can see, the contents, 25 pounds of white rice. So you got 25 pounds of white rice inside this bucket. So that's a good amount of rice, right? So right under that, you have another 25 pounds of white rice. Oh, next to that, we have oats. So this is like oatmeal and rolled oats and whatnot. And then under that, you got pasta. That's from 2022. And guys, something about these are food grade buckets, so you don't have to worry about the buckets contaminating your food. But we didn't just stop there. So with these buckets, we have rice, we have oats, and we have pasta. But also inside these buckets, we have the food in individual packages. And not only do we have all these buckets with different items in them, all the items in them are individually packaged, and all of them are in Mylar bags sealed with oxygen absorbers. That way we can keep these items as fresh as possible. So rice already lasts a long time, and then you put it in a Mylar bag, you vacuum seal it, take all the air out, have the oxygen absorber in, and you seal it closed. This is gonna last an extremely long time. You're gonna stay this inside this weatherproof bucket. So that's a good way to keep things organized and keep things lasting as long as possible. So as you can see, we got this black towel right here, or black sheet right here. And underneath that, we have these buckets, right? These are buckets I'm sure most of us have seen. And these are just totes or containers that you can use to put anything in. So what we do, got a couple noodles right here. What we do is we put different types of foodstuffs in them, right? So inside here, we got all type of different types of food and sauces and seasoning. This is kind of like a bag of different international stuff, different flavors and whatever. Got some stuff to make some Vietnamese pho and, you know, some Mexican chilies to make some birria or whatever. But down in here, oh, here's a good example right here. Right here I have some dehydrated ground beef. And I have this in these mason jars, and these are airtight because I have a sealer that takes all the air out of cans and seals the lid pretty tight. So we have stuff like dehydrated ground beef pre-seasoned. And over here, this is a taco mix. This is black beans, corn, cilantro, tomatoes, taco meat, all types of stuff in there. And this is a good amount. So you look at it right now, it's not that big of a jar, right? It's about the size of my hand. But once this stuff gets rehydrated, it goes a couple times up in size. So this can feed you a good amount. But just to show you some more contents in here, let's put this to the side. We got some, as you can see, some potatoes, packs of sardines, some rice packets. Those quick 90-second rice packets are always great. We got more rice, once again individually packaged, vacuum sealed with the oxygen absorbers. Keep these as fresh as possible. We got all type of beans, different varieties of beans, so you don't get too bored eating the same thing. Just all type of beans, all vacuum sealed rice and beans. We got, what is this? This is more mashed potatoes. This is the vacuum sealed mashed potatoes. We got some tea that's vacuum sealed. Tons of different types of tea down here. Black chia seeds, just all type of stuff. Pasta, got some dehydrated mushrooms in here. And that's, that's that tote right there. So if you're limited on space, you might want to consider getting something like one of these totes or a couple of these totes and put you some food to the side. Something else to remember with these totes is it's easy to forget what you have in the tote. So it's good to keep a list of what you have, more like an inventory of what you have, kind of like what restaurants do. That way you can know what you have, what you don't have, and how much of what it is, right? I'm gonna go ahead and show you this bottom tote right here, show you what we got in that, because along with keeping a list or knowing what you have in your totes, you want to have variety, because just like on a day-to-day life, you want variety in what you eat. You don't want to eat the same thing every single day. Just imagine if you're already in distress. This is the last stuff you eat, or the last stuff you have rather, and you have to eat the same exact thing every day, all the time. Your morale's already low. You're already in a state of stress. You're already depressed at a certain level. And now you're eating the same beans and rice, beans and rice, beans and rice every day. So you want to have some variation, switch things up. Just because it's bad times doesn't mean it can be better times, even though they're bad, if you know what I'm trying to say, right? So I'm going to go ahead and show you what's in that bottom container. All right, so here in this bottom container, as you can see, got a whole lot of condiments and seasonings. I'm going to start over here. We all know what this bottle is. What is that? Yeah, that's mustard right there. You got mustard, ketchup, W sauce or worst word sauce. What is this? We got some Frank's Red Hot wing sauce, barbecue sauce, more ketchup, more barbecue sauce. We got our hot sauces over here. Tons of soy sauce, because all this rice we got, soy sauce, soy sauce tastes great on rice. So we got all types of different soy sauce. We got steak sauce. What is this? We got roasted beef bouillon. If you just have some roasted beef bouillon, you mix it with some rice and beans, that's a whole different meal right there. Come on now. I'm gonna try to put that back. Got some salsa verde. Got some green asparagus. More asparagus. We got some Kamada olives, Parmesan cheese. What is this? Got some diced green chilies, some more bouillon, coconut oil, some tahini, pink Himalayan salt, guys. You don't want to get all straight regular salt, because that's not the healthiest for you. And we're still trying to stay as good as possible, even though we're in maybe a rough situation. So kind of stocked up on pink Himalayan salt. Real good, better for you. So we got a ton of that. All types of different seasonings that you can think of. So once again, give you different variety. Even if you're eating the same thing, different flavor profiles. It's gonna be so much more fun than eating beans with pepper, beans with salt and pepper. Get you some roasted garlic beans, or some lemon pepper, or Italian seasoning beans with a little spicy cayenne, or all type of stuff. You just mix and match and switch it up. Another good thing, as y'all can see, I got a decent amount of these bouillon packs, because these provide a ton of flavor. That way you can put a little bit of this in and it can go a long way. Also in here, got some random cans of tuna, because tuna is I feel like tuna is slept on in a lot of different people's homes, but tuna will hold you down. Let's just look at the facts on here. This is 80 calories in this one container. This is one serving, right? Let's see. Well, I'm sorry. About one serving is 1/3 of a cup. But yeah, 18 grams of protein in this one thing. So 18 grams of protein, because you want to keep your protein up, or else you're going to start getting really, really lean. So canned tuna is great, as well as your condiments, to provide different flavor profiles so you don't get flavor fatigue. That's what they call it when you eat the same thing all the time. You get tired of it and it's like, oh man, that again. So we got all types of stuff in there for that. Another thing that we're gonna go ahead and go over is fire safety and ways to leave your apartment if there's a fire. So in one of my previous videos, I spoke about some items that you want to keep around in the house to keep your area safe, and fire extinguishers was one of them. So right here, I'm just going to go ahead and show you these. We got 2 different fire extinguishers. The reason why is we go by the rule, 1 is none and 2 is 1. And we always want to be redundant with these things because something might happen to one of these and you might need to use the other one. Also, if you look at your fire extinguisher down here at the bottom, you have these different ratings. So this one's B for liquids and C for electrical. This larger one right here, if I turn it around, this one's A for trash, which is like wood and paper, B for liquids, and C for electrical. So this does a little bit more and it's bigger than this small one. Also next to it is a fire blanket. With these fire blankets, you can smother a fire real quick. As you can see, something's on fire, you take it out and you put it right on top of that fire and smother it. You don't want to throw it on real fast, but just lay it right over the fire. That way it can go ahead and smother itself and kill that fire real quick. In extreme emergencies, if just say like a doorway or something was on fire, and I had to get out of my apartment, I wrap myself in this. And if I have to run through there, I would much rather run through there with this fire blanket on me than just running out with my regular clothes. That way the fire, it doesn't touch my skin, make it a little warm, but I'm going to be in and out that little doorway or whatever section it is as fast as possible. And this is just a blanket. It's let's see if I can pull this out. But it's just a white blanket and it unwraps. It's folded up pretty good in there, and it's made of what's the material? Forgot the name. I can't recall it right now. Oh, fiberglass. It's made out of fiberglass. That way it's more of a fire retardant. That way it won't catch on fire. So fire blanket is an amazing thing to have. Another reason why you want to really pay attention to fire extinguishers and fire blankets is this right here. This is a fireplace, right? A lot of apartments have fireplaces. And just say you're good with fire safety and you don't have anything extremely flammable sitting real close to your fireplace and you know how to use it, right? But something you have to remember is if you're in an apartment, you're surrounded by tons of people. And a lot of individuals do not, or they're not used to using fireplaces. They just think you throw some wood in there, set it on fire, set it and forget it. And that causes tons of fires. And something you got to remember is if you're in an apartment, you're connected to all these other individuals. And people are careless, right? Let's just call a spade a spade. People are careless. You can have somebody start a fire in the fireplace. Then, oh man, I got to go to the gas station, go grab some, have the fire going unattended. And something you always want to do is once you have that fire going, just close this. And this netting is kind of like a spark arrestor, which means when sparks fly, hopefully they'll hit this net instead of just jumping out and burning your carpet, right? So always keep that net closed. But a lot of people don't even know about all these things. I know this is pretty dirty, so you gotta excuse me. I gotta clean that. It's just been very busy. But a lot of people don't know that or take the time to even research how to, treat fireplaces or do them properly. So if they leave theirs unattended or something happens where a candle falls over in someone's apartment because the power's out, then there's a high chance that that fire can spread from them to you extremely quickly. So if you have your fire extinguishers, at least you can, maybe stop the fire in their apartment or save yourself in your own apartment from any further damage, right? So fire extinguishers in apartment complexes are extremely important because you can't trust what you don't know, and most people don't know, so you can't trust them. Another thing, I don't have it here, it's something else I'm planning to get, is a fire ladder. So what it is like a little ladder that just folds up, and it's compact and it has kind of like a hook at the end, and you can hook it, if you're on the second floor or third floor, you can hook it on to the side of your balcony, and then it just decollapses and goes down to the ground, and you can just climb down it kind of like a ladder, and you can quickly escape fire. So if you have a fire in a hallway, or you have a fire at your front door where you can't leave through the main entrance, you can go through your patio, go through your balcony, whatever, throw that ladder across the side. It's gonna hold on to the side of the balcony or patio, and you can rappel down from that. So that is an amazing thing to have in your apartment. So the fire ladder, as well as the water jugs I spoke of previously, or water containers for your storage. Since I don't have those right now, I'll go ahead and put a link in the description to the ones that I've purchased or the ones that I'm about to purchase. All right, y'all, think about this. The power's out for whatever reason. Your toilets aren't working properly because systems are down somewhere. You got to use the restroom. You live in an apartment. You can't just go to your backyard and use the restroom, which already sucks. So what are you going to do? If you use the restroom in your toilet, you can only use it so many times before it gets really bad, because you're not going to be able to flush it, and who knows how long it's going to take for them to get that stuff back up and running. So what do you do? Well, I got a solution for you. Right here, we have the luggable loo. What this is once again, it's another bucket. I'd say it's about another 5-gallon bucket. As you can see, we love buckets here. It has this nice handle, nice carry handle to be able to carry it with, right? So what this is, you got this lid, you lift the lid, boom, you got a toilet. Look at that. You got a whole toilet, and it's looking like a regular old bucket. And it has a lid that you can close it to keep some of the smells out. So what this is, you got to do your business. You got to do it somewhere safe, and you got to be able to get rid of that waste. So if you look in here, you see a couple items in here. So what's inside this luggable loo or portable toilet? We got some tall kitchen bags. You don't need the huge, regular trash bags, because that's too big for this. You got that. So you get your kitchen bags, get you some tissue, you get you some baby wipes. It smells so good in here because I got soap in here. Hopefully we're going to keep it smelling good. Hopefully we never have to use this. But I got some soap. I used to stay in a lot of different hotels, so I stocked up on a lot of these little small soaps that I didn't use because I just had my own soap with me, and these are pretty harsh. So we got a ton of these little Dove soaps. For when it's an emergency, these things are going to be amazing. So we got some Dove soap, we got some wipes, we got toilet tissue, bags. We got some hand sanitizer, because you got to stay sanitary. Just because things are bad doesn't mean you have to lose your mind. Let's stay sanitary, guys. We got some more toiletries in here. We also have some little, again, I used to stay in a lot of hotels for my job, so we got a lot of little mini shampoos and lotions, and got some makeup removers in there. So just some small toiletries to make the situation that already sucks, make it a little lighter on the load. No pun intended. We got some more bags, and we have another case of wipes. So this is just a little standard toiletry kit, right? You got your toilet, you put your bags inside here, and then you got your toilet tissue like regular, and then you wipe yourself after. So on a day-to-day basis, just for hygiene's sake, if you're using the restroom, you shouldn't just use toilet tissue anyway. You should at least wipe yourself with a wipe after you use the toilet tissue. If you're not gonna wash yourself up with a towel and warm water and soap, the least you can do is do a little bit more than just tissue, because here in America, we're late on a lot of things, and for a lot of people, you just use tissue, and that's not all that sanitary. So at least go the next length and use some wipes. So keep you some wipes right by the toilet. You don't have to worry about it. You just set it, and then as soon as you use the restroom, do that. But with this, this is a great little kit right here. So you can have this in your apartment. This is even good if you're traveling far. Have you ever been traveling far and had to use the restroom really bad, and ever had to pull over somewhere, or and the restroom wasn't working? It's an emergency situation. It's extremely uncomfortable, and your nerves are shot because you have to use the restroom. You have no idea what you're going to do. So you may be feeling like you're going to be embarrassed if you have to use it somewhere crazy. So having this around is an amazing tool to have. And as well as the other items, I'll link this below, because the last thing you want to do, your electricity's out, is not be able to use the restroom, or use the restroom and contaminate your apartment with smells and creates a small biohazard inside your apartment, because again, who knows how long it's going to be if the power is out or whatever's happening. So keep you a nice luggable loo. There's tons of different types of these little portable toilets. There's some that fold, there's all types, but for me, I like this one because it's solid. It's got some good structural rigidity. I don't have to worry about using the restroom or using the toilet and it collapsing on me, and that's going to be an even bigger mess, and I'm going to be sick. So get you a nice portable one. I would suggest something like this 5-gallon bucket luggable loo, because it comes with a handle. You got your top on here, and then you can just fill it up with all your items, and everything stays in one safe space. So check that out. All right, guys, that pretty much wraps it up for today's video of the basic necessities that you need in your apartment to start being a prepper, or start off on the prepper life. Just some basic necessities. So we went over your security for your doors, your sliding doors. We went over water storage. We went over food storage. We went over ways to escape and evade fires, prevent fires, as well as how to use the restroom if you're in a limited space, you don't have a backyard, and electricity's out. So I appreciate all y'all. If y'all watch this whole video, it means the world to me. And we're gonna go ahead and do another series of videos to help y'all out with this apartment situation, because I know how it is. I've been living in apartments for a while, and I feel like I've gotten pretty good at it, and I've accumulated a decent amount of things, and I know some good habits and ways to store these things. So as you can see right here, this is some of that ground beef that I showed you earlier that I have stocked up. I haven't made any lunch or dinner, so I'm gonna rehydrate this dehydrated beef and make some lunch with this. So another thing to remember is when you do stuff like this and you have food, you have to rotate it out and use the old and then put in the new to replace it. So I'm gonna go ahead and use this so I can make sure everything's still edible and working as it should and still sealed well. And I'll see y'all on the next video.